Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tribal Trades. Wherever you are from around the world, welcome to the channel. We're going to jump straight into one of our educational videos. This is going to be a range trading video. And look, really all it is using the Fibonacci's, the 50-day moving average and the 200 EMA on multiple different time frames, on the 15-minute, the hour, the 2-hour, and the 4-hour, and on the daily, to provide some areas of support and resistance and look to trade a range, because you can be waiting for your coin to go up and break and go and get profit. But how about buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, break out? This is how you range trade. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. And we're going to look at the Ondo chart. I'm going to take my head off the screen so it's easier to see. So what I've already done here for the sake of time is I've established some lines here just by using this little tool up here. You can click on that, the trend line, and you can draw them. And using the Fibonacci's, and the way that you would do that is you just click on the Fib tool, you'd find your bottom of the range, and then you'd move that up to the top of your range. And there's where you find your middle. Whoopsie, whoopsie, whoopsie do. And there's where you would find your middle at around $1.25. I also don't mind the golden pocket Fibonacci 618, which is sitting in there as well. And you can see there's been some resistance at the 618 as well. So that is how you would do it. So once you've done that, and you find it's easy on this one because it's basically $1 and $1.50. So it's easy that the middle is $1.25. But if it's not as simple as that, just use the Fibonacci's tool and then just draw the line where the 5 is, which was about $1.25. Draw where the 1 is, and then draw where the 0 is there. And then you can remove the Fibonacci tool. I've already done this already. Okay, so how are we going to trade this little piece of price action here? We're on the daily right now, and we are going to switch to the 4-hour in a minute. But as you can see here, that this area was a resistance. And then we broke above it, and then we had resistance, and then we broke above that, and then we found a high up here. And so now we've established a little bit of a range. So at that point, you would draw your Fibonacci's. Now you can trade this little range of price action. Now look, if it comes down and goes through and pushes up, so be it. You can just continue to take profits to the upside. Certainly, you know, I'm an if this, then that trader. And if it breaks out of the range, or the range, it doesn't stay in very long and pushes up, you just certainly pivot and then create a new range and so on. But what we've got here is we're just going to trade what we have. We can't trade what we don't have. And so what we have here is now we come down. Hopefully you would trade a breakout here, and then you would look at taking profit. But let's just say that you're entering the trade now. You've established this is the middle of the range, and you enter the trade here, okay? Now, on the way up, you can look to take profit. Now, you don't have to wait till you're at the very top of the range. As you can see, there are a number of candles here with liquidity, and so there will be some sell pressure there, and so we may not always get above the range. Sometimes you'll have a deviation above the range, and then you'll come back into the range. So here is where I would have, especially a wick like that, I would look to have taken profit here on this occasion. However, if you wait, then you risk coming back down, and then you come all the way back down to the bottom of the range. Okay, so how do you trade this price action? Okay, so we entered here, we didn't get stopped out, and look, you can have stop losses, or you can dollar cost average in. You can buy here, and then you can, let's switch that to the 4-hour to bring the 200 EMA into play, and this will actually help us with the price action here as we have a look at this little block that we have. Okay, and we've got some Lux Algo orders as well that help. But then, you know, you can come in and you can say, okay, I'm going to put an order at the 200 EMA on the 4-hour and at the 50-day moving average and at the bottom of the range. So you can actually build a position here where you average your position so that when you come back to the top of the range, you can actually take profit because you bought down here, you bought down here, you bought here, and you bought here. So you can actually, your average buy is going to be somewhere around the 50-day moving average. Now, on this occasion, it only came down to the 50-day moving average, hit the Lux Algo. That's why it's good to have the Lux Algo and have those order blocks there, and then came back up, and that would have been where to take profit. So I got in here and then out here. Now, the ideal entry for this is now a couple of places. Either the 200 EMA is an entry, but it doesn't leave you much to the upside. So it doesn't leave you much to the upside, but you could enter there. And if you're building a position, then you could enter here and enter all the way down. And then as it comes up, you can take profit here again and so on. And you might find this coin could go sideways in the range. The whole idea is if the coin just sits and goes like this, you can just be entering here, exiting here, entering here, exiting here. But then it goes above and you have entries here, exits here, entries here, exits here. Now, of course, what happens when we go above the range? Well, that's where I have my long-term hodl bag. So no problem if we go above the range. And if you watch my life-changing gains series, episode 1, 2, and 3, I have my trade bag, my hodl bag, and my accumulate bag. So this would be my accumulation bag here or my trade bag. Okay, my hodl bag, I would just leave and wait. And then I'd take profit here, and then I'd keep taking profit. You've seen my crypto cheat sheet. I would just take profit of those entries. And so you have two different Ondo bags. Now, if you don't have the liquidity, you've got to choose one of those. You've got to choose one of those. And maybe the accumulate method is the best one. So you wouldn't necessarily sell all of your Ondo bag. You would just accumulate more on the dips, sell, come down, accumulate more on the dips, sell, accumulate more on the dips. Here we're at the 200 EMA, so this entry is okay. And I know some people on the Discord, and if you're not in the Discord already, go down to the link below in the description, stockswithjosh.com. I also have my crypto cheat sheet link down below, as well as some other great resources. So check that out. The NordVPN. If you're not trading with a virtual private network, you want to make sure you keep your identity safe and secure. Okay, and so this is not a bad entry. It depends on the position size. So you either got to have a stop loss or you need to manage your position size. Or if you're, like I said, if you're building entries and you're dollar cost averaging, then that's fine because you just keep buying as it goes lower and then you'll take profit on the way up. Okay, so what is the best plan from here? Well, for me, this is the entry that I like here. Now, we haven't gotten to it today. We certainly had a wick down, didn't touch it. We're back over the 200 EMA, and we're really flirting with that line, to be honest. Look at that. It's a lot of chop, and this is just a lot of people getting stopped out here. Okay, and this is why I don't necessarily love that price action. Sure, you can kind of make some money from it for sure, and you can trade it, but I'm looking where I want my buys. I want my buys here at $1. I want my buys here at around $1.05. $1.10, and here. These are my ideal entries, okay? And sometimes the trade is no trade, and you've got to decide your trading style. So for me, I'm not taking an entry here at the 200 EMA, but is it okay to take an entry of the 200 EMA? Sure, it's fine, because you could either take profit here at 125 or wait to see what happens. If it gets rejected, you can stop out of the trade at break even or a little bit in profit. Or if we get above and retest, then you can then feel confident you can add to your position, okay, and then look for it to go up and then take some profit on the way up. And there are a couple of take profit zones. You don't have to wait all the way to the top. You can go TP1 here, TP2 here, and then TP3 up the top here. Or also, when you come down here, if you don't want to get in here and you miss getting in here, if your entries are here, there's nothing wrong with buying higher and selling higher. So if this breaks and there's a retest, and you could enter here with a stop loss, or if you enter here, build positions again. Entry 1, entry 2, entry 3, entry 4, entry 5. If you have $500, that's how I would split up the $500. And then that way, when we get back to here, I can get out of the trade and profit. Or if we get back to here, I'll still be able to get, my position will be around the middle of this range if I do all of those entries, so I can get back out at the 50-day moving average if I want, or put stop losses there. There's no one way of trading these ranges. You can certainly trade your own strategy within that, so that's fine. So if you've taken the trade at the 200 EMA, that's totally fine. If you have the liquidity, there would be an entry. If you haven't entered here, of course, this is a better entry because it's lower, but is it going to get down there? Are we just going to bounce on here? There's going to be a squeeze. This is going to continue to go the upside. The longer price stays up, the more these are going to go to the upside. And eventually, the perfect trade, in my opinion, is when these two get to this line here. That's golden hour. because now you have clear support and resistance at that level. So that if you get up there and reject, you know you can take profit, get out of the trade, stop out, and wait to re-enter at the bottom. And if it breaks through and retests, you know coming up, you can continue to buy at that level on the way up and then take profit on the way up. So that's how you would trade these ranges. And I can't emphasize how important the 50-day moving average is. Look at this. Bang, straight off it. Bang. Even closed under it, but said, no, thank you. I'm going back up. And while I'm there, I'll bust over the 200 EMA. You can also look at the 200 EMA on the 2 hour as well, which is not a bad idea. And you can see that it's having a bit of trouble with the 200 EMA. It's actually might be stuck under it. So this is why you're saying, oh, why isn't it pushing past? It got past the 200 EMA. Well, because the 200 EMA on the, here we go, on the 2 hour chart is providing resistance. And you can even go down. I don't often go to the 2 hour chart, but certainly on the 1 hour chart, you look here. On the 1 hour chart, it's just here, so it's pretty close. And you can also go down to the 15-minute chart if you really want to grind down into it and look at all time frames. So short term, because it's under the 15 EMA, the 200 EMA on the 15, it's certainly short term bearish, but that's just on a very short time frame here. But we've got some support, so you can also see the Lux algo come in. So this can be helpful as well, because you also know that the 200 EMA is also around this level. And this is why this is not a bad entry here if you wanted to have an aggressive entry, okay? But you've got to know that you've got some resistance up here. And this is why it's like, oh, it's just not moving. Well, it's not moving because of this 200 EMA on the different time frames. And so this is why it's important when you're trading to look at things on different time frames and see, okay, this makes sense. This also makes sense why we only pushed up to 122, because we have a Lux order block there. And we also have another one up here and a little bit higher as well. And so you've got to keep that. And we've got one down here at around this level as here. And we know that the 50 moving average is coming up into this area here. We can see it. Where is it? It's hiding from us. It's over here. We know that this is slowly moving up to this area up here as well. So this can be very helpful when trading ranges, to look at it on the different time frames to see how best you want to trade this price action. So right now, if I'm looking to trade this price action, because we're kind of squished between some EMAs, this is an aggressive entry and this is an okay entry. But I like this entry here, and I'm hoping that we get down to and get some order fills, and then this entry, and then this entry. And this is how I would build a position. Now you can see it worked perfectly here, 200 EMA, pick some up here, and then pick some up the bottom. You can see here, you pick some up here, pick some up here. Didn't quite get to the bottom, but you would have had another order there with the Lux algo. So you would have had 4 entries here. So in theory, there is 1 entry, 2 entries, 3 entries, and 4 entries. And you can either enter it all 4, just 3 of them, just 2 of them, or just 1 of them, depending on how aggressive you want to be or how conservative you want to be. The very conservative play is to wait for it to come all the way back to $1, but what if it doesn't? Great question. Then, if it breaks to the top of the range, you can enter the trade here, okay? And on a retest, enter it here. So if this doesn't get hit here and I really wanted to trade this coin, I would enter here. If I have my order here and I'm even more conservative, it doesn't get hit, I can enter here. I could also enter on the break and the retest of the 50-day moving average. It all depends on your trading style, your risk tolerance, and where you want to put your stop losses or what your position size is. Okay, because we're talking to all different kinds of traders here with all different kind of risks, types, and position sizes, etc. And so what you've got here is you've got the $1, and so here. So if we break above here, which at some point we will, and we get a retest, it might reject a few times, but if we break above this and retest, that can be a place to enter with a stop loss, or you build positions. There's 2 different ways to do it. Okay, or you manage your position size, okay? So you're not risking money that you can't afford to lose. And then the idea is that we take profit here, here, and here. And then as we come down, we would, and now in this case, if we were coming down, I wouldn't look at dollar cost averaging here. No, I would not. Dollar cost averaging down the lower end, but I wouldn't here. I would wait to all the way back to the bottom of the range, unless the 50-day moving average gets above this. Then that changes things. If the 50-day moving average is up here, then as we come down, of course, I would have an entry here, and I would have an entry here, and then I would have a stop loss, okay, to make sure that if we went back to the bottom of the range, I could stop out and get back at lower prices, okay? Now, what happens if we get above the range? This is a great question. You get above the range? Well, of course, if you get above the range, you've already taken profit. And listen, here's the deal. I never met anybody who lost money taking profit. I am an aggressive profit taker. I see too many people, they leave profits on the table, they regret it. Price action comes back, and price action loves coming back to these EMAs, loves coming back to the 50-day moving average. And so you can really get some good trades out of this. So a couple of ways to trade this. First of all, if you're using my 3-trade strategy and you break through here, well, it really doesn't matter, because now your Ondo hodl bag is in profit and you can take some profits there, okay? This is what happens with me with Solana all the time. I'm accumulating, I'm range trading it, I'm leverage trading it using the money printing method. And then I've also, when it breaks through, when Solana breaks through, I take profit on my hodl. So if I get closed out of a trade and profit, now also you can also leave a little position open, but I don't like that, because if you come down, then that money is lost and it's off the table. You can feel fairly confident that there'll be some resistance. Usually it's just not going to bust through, and you can kind of tell, hey, are we going to get rejected here? And you can kind of put a stop loss, right around maybe here at about $1.45. So if it hits this range, and then you don't want to take profit in case it breaks through, retest, and keep going, you could just move your stop loss up. And so if you got down in here or here or here or in all of those, and your average entry is here, you can just keep moving your stop loss up, keep moving up, keep moving it up. And this is what I would recommend doing. So when you get to here, if you don't want it, you can take some profit off the table, but leave some in. And then if you come down and get stop loss out of it, you're still in profit because you entered down here. Okay. Now, if you really want to play it risky and you don't want to take profit here and you want to keep playing it, certainly you could get burned because it could come all the way down. So that's just something to be aware of. The other thing too is if you come up here and you take profit, or you come up here and you take some profit and then come back and get stop loss out in more profit, and then it breaks through here and you're going, oh no, you can get it on the retest. And you can add a small position here on the retest in case it then takes up. And quite often, though, we see deviations out of the range. And this is what they'll do is they'll go, they'll induce people to go long, and then they'll liquidate them and dump it back down again, come into the range before coming back through again. You see deviations all the time outside of the range. So if you see a deviation, if you see that happen, then obviously you can create, and obviously we'll be in price discovery here. So we're off into price discovery. I don't think Ondo has gone past this level. No, that's the all-time high. So we're in price discovery there. So essentially with that, you would then come back, you would get back in the trade, put a stop loss. So if you come down, you get stopped out of it. If it comes back and retests and takes off, then you can just take profits on the way up as we go up, and you can set Fibonacci's. And obviously with the Fibonacci's, when we set this up, we came over here, and you can go from the bottom of the range to the top of the range, and then that can help you take profit here. So then you would go, okay, well, maybe there's some take profit zones here at the at $1.64, $1.70, $1.80, and then a new range might be created here, and then you would do the entire thing over again above it, and you can just continue to take profit forever. Because look, how long, if you just take profit here, that's it, you just took profit. Now you have to wait until it gets back to here and then above before you can take more profit on the hodl strategy. But in the trade or accumulation method, you can take profit here again, go down, take profit here again, go down, get more, take profit here again, maybe come down, take profit here again, take up, take profit here, come down, get back in, take profit here. And you can kind of range trade this one for as long as it goes sideways. It goes sideways for months. You could make quite a significant amount of money doing that consistently. So I hope that really helps some people out there. I'm going to leave it there, but I'm definitely prepared to do a follow-up to this if there are questions or comments there. where I can help a little bit further. And I definitely love to chart some other coins doing that as well. We just did Ondo today. I know those in the Discord have been keenly awaiting this video. So this is for you guys in there. And if you're not in the Discord, sign up, Stocks with Josh. I'm on the crypto channel constantly throughout the day, not 24/7. I've got to sleep at some time, but I'm there quite often, interacting and really enjoying connecting with the community. All right, well, that'll leave it for now. And again, thank you so much for all your support, your kind comments, the likes, all the people that have subscribed, and of course, all the people in the Discord. Really appreciate all of you. And until the next video, happy trading.